Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. We've made it to the end of the week. It's Friday. The weekend is upon us. Let's see what we're dealing with for today. Today's the 30th of May, so we've already arrived at the end of another month. We're just jamming through 2014. So what we've got going on today, our sun sign is in Gemini, where it has been and will continue to be for another couple more weeks. So we know that Gemini is a air sign. Gemini deals with communication. So this is a time where we're communicating, we're expressing ourselves. The moon sign today has made a transition, or will be transitioning. It's been in Gemini, but now we're going from Gemini into Cancer, which is a water sign. So we have emotions that we're going to be dealing with. We know all about Cancerian energy. It's that emotional energy that comes along. So when we look at this, what we want to look at is we're looking at energy. Okay, so we're looking at Gemini is air, and Cancer is water. So in our life, we have air and water we deal with every single day. So just think how those things operate. If air and water work nicely together, we have a nice good day, nice good breeze, nice good flow of emotions, nice good flow of water and air through life. But if the air gets really chaotic and starts blowing the water around, we can have hurricanes. We can have these really crazy storms. If we think about it in terms of words and emotions, if the emotions overwhelm the words, well, things become very chaotic the way we express ourselves. If the mind or what we're saying is overriding the emotions, then sometimes we're not getting a lot of clarity right there. So we have to find a balance. How to use the words that we're speaking in a way that's going to be more effective. Remember, we got fire, water, air, and earth. And before that, we have the spirit. And spirit flows through all of these things. So as we are going through life, we don't just want to limit ourselves to the physical world, even though we're living here. The challenge is to be living here, but at the same time also understand that we're supposed to bring down the spirit into earth. That's part of this whole mission down here for all of us, to bring spirit into earth, into what we're doing. And when we do that, we all have amazing experiences that occur with us. Okay? So we're going to move there, and for those who are wanting to look a little bit more in depth at the ephemeris shows us exactly where all the planets and the stars are for today. And just follow along here. Let me enlarge this a little bit more. And basically just follow along, and you go down each column, go down the column and you see a symbol, and you just follow that symbol down, and when it changes to the next symbol, you'll see the next sign. So for example, here you could see the sun sign was in Taurus. There's the sign of Taurus, and as it goes down, it was in Taurus all the way till it got here. And now we get another symbol, which is Gemini, so we know that we've moved. And that's how it is for every column. So as we go across, we can see where the placements of everything is just by looking at it. And we have the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Okay. So this is always a good thing. Some people like to get more in depth with understanding all of the specifics. What this calendar does here, it's nice because it kind of graphs it all out for us in a way to look at, that that we understand because we're used to looking at these calendar systems. So we go from there to the numerology of the day. And numerology today is a 6. Here's how we've arrived at that. So we've got the month is a 5, 30, 3 plus 0, and then the year 2014. So that leaves us with a 5, a 3, and a 7, and that's a 15. 1 plus 5 equals 6. What we're doing here, it's a process called theosophic subtraction, where we're continuing to reduce the numbers down until one single number, right? So we take all of these and we keep reducing, and so the 15 is the 1 and the 5, and that's why we have the 6. And so what we're doing is we're basically looking at the energetic construct that we have around us, because over the course of time using the calendar system, we're under an agreement that this is the time that we're going to use for those who are following this calendar. So if this is the time we're using, then there must be some energetic around it that we're all locked into, because the mind is very powerful when we look at the system. And so the numerology tells us where we're at in this entire mix. So the numerology for today is a 6. Well, this is the card of the 6. This is the card of the 6, which is the card of the Lovers. It also happens to be the card of the Gemini. And in this card, what you have is 3 characters, 3 figures, a male, a female, and the angel. Well, the male represents the conscious mind, the female represents the unconscious mind, and the angel represents the higher self. So the whole idea is that the male, the conscious mind, looks towards the unconscious mind, the subconscious, and the subconscious is focusing on what the higher self is needing to have. And when we allow ourselves to work in that capacity where we use our higher self as a guide to really help us move through life, things becomes much different. Because otherwise, if we just go through life and we don't include that element of spirit, that include that part of our higher self, we get led around in all different ways that we don't like, and things that are out there in the world just really sometimes rub us the wrong way. So it's important that we find this harmony amongst ourselves. That's where the idea of the harmony of the sexes, if you go back and you just take the man and female out and just think of the harmony of the sexes, starts with us, where the harmony of our masculine and feminine sides together, our conscious and our unconscious, it kind of puts things in a different perspective. Okay, so that's one way to look at it. And if we go over to the tree of life here, and to see where everything falls in place, here we have the 6, and it's taking us from understanding back to the heart. The moon sign Cancer is right here, going from understanding to severity. And our sun sign is also here in Gemini. So what we notice by looking at this is that all of these symbols here are on the same side of the tree right here. And the whole objective is to always find a way back to the middle, because we have a pillar of mercy right here, a pillar of severity over here, and then the one of balance. So we want to find our balance. So we're right here. There's a central point in understanding. So we have an understanding about things in life. And through this understanding, we are learning lessons about how to take that understanding and apply it in a creative way, express our passion. But the warrior kind of gives us a clue that if things are so severe and we don't express our energy in a way that is really effective, it can be very warlike. So we need to find a way to channel it, use that energy in a creative way, use our passion to express something that is going to benefit life as opposed to tear it down. And from this understanding, going back to the heart space, we have discernment. That once we understand things about life, we understand that it is our responsibility to discern what is right and what is wrong for ourselves. And then because we are a microcosm of the universe, as we learn these things for ourselves, we express it out into the world as well. Now the sign of Cancer right here that we're moving into is represented here by the Chariot. Okay, and let me get this so you can see a little better. It's represented by the Chariot, and the Chariot has armor. So what we have here is we have a person in a vehicle, a man, conscious mind, is in a vehicle. The vehicle is driven by God. In front you have 2 sphinx, the riddle of life. One's black, one white, showing the opposites of life. And you have a spirit flowing through into the person, into the conscious mind. And here we have the armor, which is therefore the vehicle around the person to protect oneself from all of the emotions. And in order to be able to steer the chariot clearly down the path of life through all the riddles and through all the dualities, spirit will help us move through that. But the armor is very important because as we go through life, there's so many emotional issues that we deal with. Unless we have some sort of a way to protect ourselves, sometimes we can be at the mercy of what's going on. So we need that protection. Okay. Now we move from there. I look at our moon phase, and we are just slightly past the new moon, 4% of the way full now. We're making our way up to the full moon, where we'll be in just a little bit less than 2 weeks now. So new moons are times of beginning. Think about the moons, the phases of the moon as going from a new moon to a full moon, and then a full moon back down as tides of the ocean moving in and out, tides of energy. Remember in the book of Urantia, it talked about this respiration that takes place in the universe, this breathing. Think of it this way. Everything is breathing. Everything moves to and fro, back and forth. There's a rhythm to everything. So as we understand and get in sync with this rhythm, things change, because it's not that everything around us is changing, but we're adapting to what is going on, and we become more effective in how we're dealing with everything. We look up into the sky tonight. This is what we're going to be seeing. This is the sky map for tonight. The moon right down here tells us that. Looking very low in the west, northwest, and twilight for the hairline crescent moon with Mercury to its right. Far to the lower right, a bright Jupiter is shown. Binoculars will help. So when you look up, you're going to see the moon here. Off to the right of it, you'll see Mercury. All right. And then way up here, we got Jupiter. And then over the course of the weekend, you'll see the moon in a different place right up here, a little bit higher up in the sky, and a little bit higher up yet on Sunday the 1st. And then placement of Mercury and then Jupiter. So as you're looking, just kind of give you an idea what you're looking at. The Mayan Oracle, another way to look at time. This is a system that that's coded according to the Tzolk'in, part of the Mayan calendar system, but with some advancements that Jose Arguelles saw were necessary because there were some correlations and corrections that needed to be made. Over the course of the year of the Gregorian calendar, a lot has changed because we follow this calendar system, but it's not an even system. It goes up and down, 30 days, 31 days, 28, sometimes 29, and it's a system that's off. And then every 4 years we have a leap year. So counting can get thrown off. And so the whole idea that Jose saw was that we got off and we needed to get back onto synchronicity with what was the time that we're in, and that's why he saw this correction needing to be made. And if you go through and you read about Jose and you read about his works, and you'll see that there's definitely confirmations out there that he was on the right track on what he was putting together. So what we have here is there's a series of energies that move. You got the Tzolk'in grid here, 13 columns, 20 rows. You move from the upper left corner all the way down to the bottom, and then you go up to the next row, next column. And then you same thing, top to bottom, up again to the top to bottom. And when you get to the very end here, it doesn't end. It goes back up to the top again and starts over. So this cycle has been going over and over and over for a long period of time. So today, here's where we are in the cycle. And through this cycle, you could see there's numbers 1 through 13. And then it starts over again, 1 through 13. And then again, 1 through 13. So you get the idea. It's the cycles of 1 through 13 moving at the same time as these cycles of 1 through 20. And you just combine them together. One of the 13 tones of the moon, that's what these represent across the 13 columns, and the solar frequencies of the sun. So you're putting together the sun and the moon to give you an idea of where your energy is for today. So these 13 periods of time are categorized into groups called wave spells. Wave spell is a theme. So the wave spell that we're on, I'm going to write down here, the wave spell we're on started right here. And you go down for these to the rest of this column here, And this first one, the moon, gives us our theme. So we move according to time based on these themes, and the theme here is purification. There's a keyword for each one of these. You know how we have keywords on the internet? Same idea here. Keywords in life. So keywords of themes, purification. So our theme is purification, and today we're on the fourth position along that theme, which is the self-existing free will aspect of it. The keyword for the human is free will. The star is beauty, shining bright. So we have our beauty, this light, our guide for today, challenging us and telling us to shine our light bright, use our free will, and understand that we, the self-existing aspect of life, is very important because we self-exist by putting ourselves in order, by allowing ourselves to understand the order of what's going on in the universe. The like-minded energy is the hand, which is about accomplishment. And the challenge for today is wind, the inspiration. And our hidden power is purification, the very theme that we're working off of. So over the course of this weekend, we're going to be moving from today, from the free will aspect, to tomorrow, Skywalker, which is about exploration, and then into the wizard, which is reminding us about the timelessness of life. The phrase for today, which is a combination of all of these things here, is I define. A define comes from the four. I define in order to influence measuring wisdom. I seal the process of free will with a self-existing tone of form. I am guided by the power of elegance. Okay. Space weather, another way to look at what's going on in the physical world, shows us that the solar wind is currently blowing at 342.5 kilometers per second. Our planetary K-index, which is a rating that goes between 1 and 9, shows us that right now we're at a 2, so things are quiet. Sometimes this gets pretty heavy, and it happens at times when we see big coronal holes going on or where there's sun flares that are coming off the sun. This index will go up accordingly, and we often feel these effects on the earth in the way the weather is behaving, the way that people are feeling the energy. Sometimes things feel real intense, and if we understand that the sun is active and doing these different ways of putting energy out, it helps us to understand a little bit more about why things are going on. Now, we don't see much in the coronal hole. We have this one here. It's not necessarily facing the Earth yet, so we're not getting any direct effect from it that were known. M-class flare possibilities drop the way down to 1%, just like X-class. And so M and X are both down. And our geomagnetic storm activity shows us that things are pretty low as well. So we can see that right now the sun is just in a kind of a lull period of time. It's just hanging out. And at certain times we get coronal holes, and we have CMEs, coronal mass ejections, that hit us, and nothing today. All quiet on Earth. And here, the Jewish calendar, often referred to as the biblical calendar, because stories of the Bible often coincide with this calendar, or do coincide with this calendar. Today is the beginning of a new month on this. We were in the month Liar, now we go to Sivan. And today is 1 Sivan. The Omar count is the day that's going from when the Exodus occurred to when the receiving of the Torah. And so today is day 45, moving on tonight to day 46, because the counts begin at nighttime after sundown. And if we click on here, we got some history you can read about here, and the laws and the customs, but we're going to look at the daily study. I'm going to read on further a little bit more, chapters 1 through 9 of Psalms. And the daily thought is what I want to read for you today. The daily thought here is, every society has that which bonds it, a common ancestry and a system of lineage, or a common language, or a common borders or governing body. Usually it is a combination of several factors that mold the mass of people into a single whole. The Jewish people are unique in that they have only a single nucleus, and it's none of the above. All that bonds us is the Torah. Nothing else has proven capable of holding us together for more than a generation or two. Nothing else other than the same Torah that first forged us as a nation. Okay? So there you go. That gets us started for today with all of the timings that are going on and the energies around us. Just use them as if you're looking at a weather report. You're going to go out and you want to know what's the weather for today. Now you know you've got all of this energy moving around you. That is emotional energy with the Cancerian energy. You have the mental energy of Gemini. You have the new calendar day for the Jewish calendar, which shows there's a new beginning there. We have a new moon, which is taking us into a new phase. And just kind of put all that together. We have the time of purification with the Mayan Oracle, and you just put all that together and take from it what you're able. You don't have to memorize or learn everything, and just allow your mind to be able to absorb that information and use it as you go throughout the day. And you'll find that it does help you to get through what's going on. All right, that gets us started. UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, thank you very much, Dirk. It's Dirk Bradshaw who does those introductions. He hasn't been on the show for a while, but he shall return one day. In the meantime, we've got his voice. UFO sightings. First one here, this was up by the moon. A lot more sightings coming from the moon, which is awesome. People are using their telescopes, binoculars. You know, a little something right here. This is a fascinating catch. I myself have recorded such UFOs appearing and disappearing on the moon's horizon, the outer edges. This is exactly what it looks like. These UFOs are orbiting the moon and coming and going from it. So before you declare this a fake, you're going to need an HD digital camera with a 35x zoom or better. Okay, there's our little object up there by the moon. And then here we go back to a older video back from September 2012. And again, we see more things up there. So it's been going on for a while. Okay. All right, moving from the moon, we're going to go over to Tijuana. And this was a sighting that took place in Tijuana the other day on the 29th of May. It's a 3-minute video. There we go. There's our object, one in question. Bright white light. We've seen this many a times. By now, I mean, everybody who's watching these and has been looking into the UFO phenomena knows that there's something going on. Anybody who's skeptical out there really hasn't been paying attention, because all you have to do is look, right? Plenty of things taking place. Alright, let's move from there, from Tijuana, over to Greece. Another bright white light. This one's a little bit more elliptical, or cylindrical, excuse me. Okay, UFO disclosure. Minute 35 is the video. It's going to show us right where this is, over Thessaloniki, Greece. Okay. This comes over from this direction, I believe. Oh, there it is, right in front of us. Okay, very good capture there. Looks a little bit more elongated than the other one we saw, which was more orb-like. But then again, that one just changed. So, pretty amazing how these things can certainly change their shapes, isn't it? Wonder how much advancement we've done here on Earth with reversing the technology that we've seen up there. That's what makes it sort of a challenge, because this day and age it's hard to tell which ones are belonging to extraterrestrials, off-planet visitors, and which ones are ones that are from down here. Alright, I'm going to move from there. This is to a photograph that was taken above Carshalton, UK. There's our UFO right there. Photographer Kelly Stevenson took this picture after she spotted a strong light in the sky that she could not identify above Carshalton on Saturday. Ms. Stevenson said there is an unidentified object in the sky to the left of the sun. If you zoom in, it's clear to see, clear as day. I was shocked to see it. She said she has since done some research and believes the unidentified flying object could actually be the planet Venus, which is sometimes visible from Earth depending on the conditions. Okay, so that's a possibility. People have often mistaken Venus for a UFO sighting. I don't know actually what this is or not, but it is a possibility. Over Alabama, we have an enormous silent UFO stops traffic and causes missing time. An Alabama witness eastbound along I-20 nearing the 205 exit reported stopping her vehicle to watch a silent triangle-shaped UFO as large as a football field, moving slowly at treetop level that terrified her and appeared to cause missing time. According to a May 29th testimony from the MUFON database, the incident began sometime between 2 to 3 a.m. on January 20th as the witness was on I-20 heading towards Georgia with an 18-wheeler about a mile or two behind her. About a mile and a half before I reached the 205 exit between Heflin and Rainburn, Alabama, I topped the hill, and far in the distance to my right side I saw the most extreme bright white lights up in the entire side of the road and pasture. I was very confused as to what I was looking at. The witness first thought that she was looking at the police search team, possibly responding to a traffic accident. But then I realized I didn't see any emergency vehicles or fire department colored lights. That was extremely quiet. I began to slow my speed as I approached closer, and then I noticed the lights were shining straight through the tree line onto the interstate. They had not only risen above the tree lines, but it also had turned from pointing towards the road to pointing towards the ground. The witness then completely stopped her vehicle along the interstate, but checked out the roadway for safety. I looked in the rearview mirror to see where the 18-wheeler truck was in relationship to my car because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get hit, and I also wanted to make sure that I wasn't the only person who was seeing this. The 18-wheeler also had come to a stop about 1 mile behind me. His cab door was open and he had not pulled off the interstate. Okay. And then the witness realized that she had some missing time from when she first saw the object in the field above the treetops with its lights, and when it was coming over my car without any lights. When I finally pulled myself back together and began to drive home, I realized the time was now 4:12 a.m. Okay, so there you go. There's more to this story, so the link's available at First Contact Radio. This is a story having to deal with alien abduction and government cover-up. The Hidden Hand is a controversial award-winning documentary that explores the possibility of extraterrestrials here on Earth. The film takes a look at alien abduction, human-alien hybridization, the military's reverse engineering of alien technology, and the government cover-up of anything related to extraterrestrials. It is a field guide to the world of alien contact. And what we have here is a nice little introduction trailer, minute 35 seconds, and it has a number of UFO experts on here just kind of giving a little brief talk. Okay, so I'm going to leave this for you to watch. I'm going to keep moving on here. The very last piece is 10 curious theories about aliens. Something else for you to watch. It said whether you think they're flesh-eating lizards or Nazis from space, we all have our own theories about little green men. Take a look at the video. What we have here is 10 theories in this. And these range everywhere. It's a 3-minute, 29-second video, and they range everywhere from the idea that Earth is a zoo, and these extraterrestrials are coming down just to observe the animals down here in the zoo, to ancient aliens and everything in between. There's talk about giants. There's the talk about the hybridization program that's going on. It has really good 10 different theories that are out there. Certainly, if you've been following the UFO phenomena, you're familiar with these theories. Check it out. It's a short video, and it's very fascinating and a good confirmation to kind of see if you know what you think you know. All right, UFO news, that's it for today. We're going to move on. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Great Spirit, send down your love, send down your love.
send down your love, send down your love, send down your love to us from above.
All right. All right, I'm back. So, we've seen Star Trek, right? We're familiar with the beam me up, Scotty. Well, it appears that it's finally becoming a reality. Scientists say human teleportation is possible as they transfer atoms 3 meters in groundbreaking experiment. Star Trek's style beaming up of people through space could become a reality sometime in the far future. The leader of a landmark teleportation experiment has said, "Nothing in the laws of physics fundamentally forbids the teleportation of large objects, including humans," researchers claim. They were able to transport an atom 3 meters with 100% accuracy. What we are teleporting is the state of a particle, Professor Hansen from Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands said. If you believe we are nothing more than a collection of atoms strung together in a particular way, then in principle it should be possible to teleport ourselves from one place to another. See, there's a bit more to the article, but you get the gist of it. You can read on about how we are moving forward with this technology, but it's only par for the course, right? I mean, how many examples of things have come through Star Trek? You know, we think about the technologies that we have now, and it's pretty amazing. And we can just go back and look at Star Trek when it first came out and realize that there's so many things we didn't have that we now have in life that have come to reality because of that. Just imagine how many more will come to be. Pretty awesome. All right, then one article here about healing remedy. Something that is very natural. You don't have to put any poisons in your body, simply mixing honey and cinnamon. Drug companies won't like this one getting around. Facts on honey and cinnamon. It is found that a mix of honey and cinnamon cures most diseases. Honey is produced in most countries of the world. Scientists today also note honey is a very effective medicine for all kinds of diseases. Honey can be used without side effects, which is also a plus. Today's science says that even though honey is sweet when it is taken in the right dosage as medicine, it does not harm even diabetics. Heart diseases. Make a paste of honey and cinnamon powder, put it on toast instead of jelly and jam, and eat it regularly for breakfast. It reduces the cholesterol and can potentially save one from a heart attack. Arthritis. Arthritis patients can benefit by taking 1 cup of hot water with 2 tablespoons of honey and 1 small tablespoon of cinnamon powder. You can use it for bladder infections, for cholesterol issues, for colds, upset stomach, gas, immune system, indigestion, influenza. If you want to help the longevity of your life, if you've got a sore throat, pimples, skin infections, help with weight loss, cancer issues, fatigue, bad breath, hearing loss. So that's quite a list of things that can be done with this. And certainly, of course, there's no side effects like you hear with all of the pharmaceuticals that are on the market, that you take a pharmaceutical and it cures one thing, but then it has 5 other things that are going to be a problem. You don't have that with the honey and cinnamon, just all natural. When we use the products that God gave to us, well, amazing how they work, better than the things that man makes, right? We should probably do that a little bit more often. Okay, today we're going to continue on with the Gospel of Thomas. The Gospel of Thomas are words of Jesus. This is a book that didn't make it into the Bible, but nonetheless, it is a book that stands on its own. We're going to pick up here at number 80. Jesus said, "He who recognizes the world has found the body, but he who has found the body is superior to the world." Jesus said, "Let him who has grown rich be king, and let him who possesses power renounce it." Jesus said, "He who is near me in the fire, and he who is far from me is far from the kingdom." Jesus said, "The images are manifest to man, but the light in them remains concealed in the image of the light of the Father. He will become manifest, but his image will remain concealed by his light." Jesus said, "When you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images, which came into being before you, and which neither die nor become manifest, how much will you have to bear?" Jesus said, "Adam came into being from a great power and a great wealth, but he did not become worthy of you, for had he been worthy, he would not have experienced death. Jesus said, the foxes have their holes and the birds have their nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head and rest. Jesus said, wretched is the body that is dependent upon a body, and wretched is the soul that is dependent on these two. Jesus said, the angels and the prophets have come to you and give to you those things that you already have, and you too give them those things which you have. And you say to yourself, when will they come and take what is theirs? Jesus said, why do you wish the outside of the cup? Wash the outside of the cup. Do you not realize that he who made the inside is the same one who made the outside? Jesus said, come unto me, for my yoke is easy and my lordship is mild, and you will find repose for yourselves. They said to him, tell us who you are, that we may believe in you. He said to them, you read the face of the sky and of the earth, but you have not recognized the one who is before you, and you do not know how to read the moment. Jesus said, seek and ye will find, yet when you asked me about in former times, in which I did not tell you then, now I do desire to tell you, but you do not inquire after it. Jesus said, do not give what is holy to dogs, lest they throw them on the dung heap. Do not throw pearls to swine. Jesus said, he who seeks will find, and he who knocks will be let in. Jesus said, if you have money, do not lend it at interest, but give it to one from whom will not be able to give it back. Jesus said, the kingdom of the Father is like a certain woman. She took a little leaven, concealed it in some dough, and made it into large loaves. Let him who has ears hear. Jesus said, the kingdom of the Father is like a certain woman who was carrying a jar full of meal. While she was walking on the road, still some distance from home, the handle of the jar broke, and the meal emptied out behind her on the road. She did not realize it. She had noticed no accident. When she reached her house and set the jar down, she found it empty. Jesus said, the kingdom of the Father is like a certain man who wanted to kill a powerful man. In his own country, he drew his sword and stuck it into the wall in order to find out whether his hand could carry through. Then he slew the powerful man. The disciples said to him, your brothers and your mother are standing outside. He said to them, there are those who will do the will of my Father are my brothers and my mother. It is they who will enter the kingdom of my Father. They showed Jesus a gold coin and said to them, Caesar's men demand taxes from us. He said to them, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Give God what belongs to God, and give me what is mine. Jesus said, whoever does not hate his father and his mother, as I do, cannot become a disciple to me. And whoever does not love his father and his mother as I do, cannot become a disciple for me. For my mother, but my true mother, gave me life. Jesus said, woe to the Pharisees, for they are like a dog sleeping in the manger of an oxen. For neither does he eat, nor does he let the oxen eat. Jesus said, fortunate is the man who knows where the brigands will enter, so that he may get up, master his domain, and arm himself before they invade. They said to Jesus, come, let us pray today, and let us fast. Jesus said, what is the sin that I have committed, or wherein have I been defeated? But when the bridegroom leaves the bridal chamber, then let them fast and pray. Jesus said, he who knows the father and the mother will be called the son of a harlot. Jesus said, when you make the two one, you will become the sons of man. And when you say mountain, move away, it will move away. Jesus said, the kingdom is like a shepherd who has 100 sheep. One of them, the largest, went astray. He left the 99 sheep and looked for the one until he found it. When he had gone on such trouble, he said to the sheep, I care for you more than the 99. Jesus said, he who will drink from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become he, and the things that are hidden will be revealed to him. Jesus said, the kingdom is like a man who has hidden treasure in his field without knowing it. After he died, he left it to his son. The son did not know about the treasure. He inherited the field and sold it, and the one who bought it went plowing and found the treasure. He began to lend the money at interest to whomever he wished. Jesus said, whoever finds the world and become rich, let him renounce the world. Jesus said, the heavens and the earth will be rolled up in your presence, and the one who lives from the living one will not see death. Does not Jesus say, whoever finds him is superior in the world? Jesus said, woe to the flesh that depends upon the soul, and woe to the soul that depends upon the flesh. His disciples said to him, when will the kingdom come? Jesus said, it is not by the waiting for it. It will not be a matter of saying, here it is or there it is. Rather, the kingdom of Father is spread out upon the earth, and men do not see it. Simon Peter said to him, let Mary leave us, for women are not worthy of life. Jesus said, I myself shall lead her in here in order to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit resembling you males. For every woman who will make herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, there's a lot of words and a lot of phrases here that seem to, in some ways, contradict each other. But part of the trick is going through and rereading and finding out really what the deeper meaning is, because Jesus spoke in parables. He spoke in parables. He used the phrase, those with eyes, let them see. Those with ears, let them hear. So at first glance, it may seem as if there's some contradictions here. But if you take the time just to really go through, reread them over and over, contemplate what is being said, you start to find out that there is a deeper meaning to each one of these. A deeper meaning to all of these. It's not necessarily at face value. And so that's one of the important things that we need to remember when we're studying the works of Jesus. Know that Jesus was pretty wise, and Jesus wanted to make sure we understood, while at the same time didn't want to make it so easy. People need to work for things a little bit, because if something's just given, sometimes you don't appreciate. We always appreciate things more when we work for it a little bit, when we have to reach and stretch to be able to get what we want. And so this is the Gospel of Thomas, all words of Jesus, and that kind of wraps up the Gospel of Thomas. I'm going to find some more, and on Fridays I'm going to make it a point of every Friday to bring something up about Jesus. And Jesus is one of my favorite beings to talk about, so I'm sure he is for you as well. And if not, well, hopefully you'll get to like what he has to say as you keep hearing what Jesus was all about. All right, moving on. So last night I was a guest on a show called A Cosmic Awakening, presented from In5D Radio, and we had a really great conversation. The link is available. I was on, I think, for like 2.5 hours, and we talked about everything from esoteric science, astrology, Kabbalah, tarot, to numerology. We talked about events going on in the world, and UFOs, and music. It was a really well-rounded discussion. I thank you, Michelle, and Larry, and Greg, for having me on the show. It was a great time, and they're going to be on the show in First Contact Radio in the near future, so we'll continue our discussion and move on with all of their great information. Now, I read an article from theirs pretty regular because they have a lot of great information at that site. And there's an article up here that I'm going to read today, which is a little different than some of the other articles. It's called Confirmed by 2 Sources. This is our last chance. And one thing different about this article than others is at the very bottom of this article is a disclaimer. And the reason there is the disclaimer here is because the information is pretty heavy duty, and Greg wanted to make sure that people weren't misunderstanding that he was trying to fearmonger, because that's not what this article is about. He says in here, I debated whether or not to publish this or not, but had to do it what was in humanity's best interest. I would never intentionally mislead anyone, so when 2 strangers tell me the same exact story, I listen. There was no way to candy coat this information. It is what it is. I'm sure there will be many people who see this as fear-mongering, but if you knew the information that was given to you by 2 people who do not know one another, what would you do with it? So I think the information in here is very valid and very important to know. Let me start getting to it here, and then we'll go on from there. So it starts off, says, if you knew that this was your last chance to either awaken or turn into literal space dust, would it change your life? What if this planet was a grand galactic experiment that went horribly wrong? What if this was your last opportunity to finally get it right spiritually? Look around you. In general, are people compassionate about life? Are they service to others, or are they entrained in just existing as an economic slave for the corporate elite? Are they more concerned about the latest reality show or sporting event versus making a positive change in the best interest of humanity? If people knew the true spiritual potential versus what they are settling for, would they change their ways immediately? Many people have been brainwashed beyond recognition even to be able to perceive a world without economic subservience or organized religion. Ironically, money, government, and religion are all collapsing right before our eyes. Yet because it is not mentioned by the mainstream media, no one is noticing. In 2008, after the collapse of the banking system, I posted a video on the N5D YouTube channel called Banking Collapse, announced the beginning of the Golden Age. And this was when Pluto entered Capricorn. Well, this is not a surprise, as Pluto will tear down everything that is not in humanity's best interest. In more recent news, numerous bankers have been suicided, clearly showing us that the crap is going to hit the fan really soon. The term suicided, just by the way, in case you're wondering, you may wonder what that means. We hear a lot of people, they committed suicide, but then you hear about the ways in which they committed suicide. It's like, well, that's not possible. So they've been suicided by someone. Someone else killed them and said that they committed suicide. You know the stories, the ones where the guy shot himself in the back of the head, or the person that committed suicide by shooting themselves 5 times. You know that these things aren't possible. So they've been suicided. So just to clear that up so you understand. Because of this lack of confidence in the global gold market, those in the know are expecting a major false flag event as an attempt to cover up the crimes within the banking system. Kevin Arnett has been exposing the Roman Catholic Church for their crimes against humanity, while numerous revolutions are happening around the world. Yet the typical person who is enthralled with reality shows and sporting events have no clue about how money, religion, and governments are all collapsing. There are several genuine channelers who I talk to on a regular basis, and I have been told about many things that will be happening in the very near future. One channeler is a very successful businessman, has no ulterior motives to confide about his channelings. I am hoping to have him on N5D radio as an anonymous guest to talk about a major event that will occur around 2023. Ironically, this is the end of the Pluto and Capricorn phase. I'm not at liberty to say what this event will be at this point, but it's bigger than any news you will ever hear. Plus, I really don't think people can handle it right now. He told me many things in the past, for the majority have come to fruition. One of the things he mentioned was that our galactic neighbors do not think we are going to make it as a civilization. I spoke to this contact again yesterday, who stated that there is not one single ET race who thinks that we are going to make it as a global community. They are pulling for us and are not able to interfere due to the law of free will. He added that giving us free will was one of the biggest regrets, as we have not used the gift as it truly represents. Many of the ET races are a genetic lineage. They are indeed helping with the shift in consciousness, but cannot physically intervene or interfere. The second source was a woman he met at his local dog park. As a child, was contacted by a galactic being who said that she has something very important to tell her. Because she was so young, she told him to go away. I asked if she regretted telling the being to leave, and she said yes. A few weeks later, she told me about a dream she had. Without going into details, her dream analysis clearly stated that her ability to channel this being would be returning real soon. I saw this woman at the dog park yesterday. She told me that indeed her ability has returned. The important message that was supposed to hear when a child was about her mission here on planet Earth, which is to reveal the truth about religion and how it is being used to control humanity. She stated that we need to worship the God within ourselves instead of the man-made construct that is full of info and disinfo. She also concurred with my friend's message about how our galactic neighbors do not think we might make it as a civilization. Objectively looking at this planet, we are poisoning our air, our water, and our food supplies. Because we are not doing anything about it, we are basically acquiescing our consent to allow it to happen. Now, Albert Einstein talked about the bee, and just a few moments ago I read you an article about the power of honey. So there's a connection. Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, if the bee disappeared off the surface of the globe, then man would only have 4 years left. The quote says, if man regards his own life and that of his fellow creatures as meaningless, it is not merely unfortunate, but almost disqualified for life. If the bee disappeared off the surface of the globe, then man would have only 4 years of life left. No more bees means no more pollination, no more plants, no more animals, no more man. So here's where it gets interesting. She told me that this is humanity's last chance on this planet. Either we can raise our vibration or our souls, or we will be completely destroyed. Completely. Now, this is not the same as dying and returning back to the source. It means that the soul in all previous lives will literally be turned into space dust. Perhaps this is what Dolores Cannon meant when she said that people will begin to fade away from those who have awakened as if they no longer exist. Please continue to share your light and wisdom with others. You are needed now more than ever. This is your calling. Think of it this way. The Earth is a prison planet, and this is your last chance to get pardoned. It's never too late to awaken and to make the right choices in life. We are intentionally being distracted from what is really important. Too many people are more concerned about their favorite reality show or sports team, and even pay attention to what is going on in the world around them. Those who are unawakened need to make a major lifestyle as soon as possible. Imagine if UFO were to land in your backyard and extraterrestrials gave you an option to either stay on this planet where the political elite are destroying humanity, or to go aboard their ship and return to your planet of your true genetic origin. Also consider that you wouldn't be able to confer with your loved ones about your decision, and that you will never see those who you choose to stay behind. What would you do? The gravity of the above example is the type of importance that we are facing as a civilization. It's literally now or never. Please do not construe this as fear-mongering. Nothing is carved into stone. The information is presented to give those who are unawakened the opportunity to advance in their spiritual progressions. Regardless of what happens or doesn't happen, I have great faith in humanity and will continue helping as many people as possible in their awakening process. I have asked this second source if she would be interested in writing an article for In5D as well as a guest on In5D Radio. Stay tuned for more info. So now, that's pretty heavy-duty information. Either we get it or we turn into stardust. Well, I don't see why that wouldn't be a possibility. I mean, just imagine. Just imagine that you're the creator and you have this great experiment going on, and you have one part of that experiment that keeps destroying all the others. Wouldn't at some point in time you separate it from the others and say enough is enough, get rid of it? If you had a dog and that was a wild dog, and every time you brought another dog home or a person home, it killed them, and eventually wouldn't you get rid of that dog? Something's going on. We have this card here, one of the tarot cards, the World. This shows how everything is reprocessed. It deals with the Saturn energy. Saturn energy takes everything, chews it up, spits it back out, recycles it. It seems very feasible that in the universe that there's a higher creative power out there that is going to get to the point saying enough's enough. So if there's enough souls that aren't getting it, but perhaps it's very important that people understand, it's time to get it. It's time to be serious. Time to wake up to what's going on. Sometimes these hard messages have to occur, and just because somebody doesn't like the tough message that's coming doesn't mean the message is meant to hurt you or meant to be fearful. Sometimes it's meant to help you. Time's running short. You need to get with the program. So hopefully humanity will be like what we see in the movies. We get to the very last moment and then we come through. Because there is an opportunity for everybody to make a change. But the time is running short. We continue to see more lies coming from our government structures, more lies from the banking and everything around us. Everything is collapsing. The structures are getting tighter of security around us. It's getting to a tipping point. Anyone who's really paying attention could see that something is bound to to occur pretty soon that's really going to affect us all. And so I think we need to really pay attention to these kind of messages, especially when they're coming from sources. It's not like it's one person said this. It's sources that don't even know each other are getting the same messages. And I would bet that if Greg's continued talking to others, he would find confirmation from others as well who are telling him the same thing. Get with the program. Stop killing each other down there. Because why, if you had a program of life going, why would you want to keep something going in there that continued to kill and hurt everything there? You'd find a way to wipe it out, like a disease. So maybe humanity can be looked at as a disease. Maybe all of those who are causing problems are like a disease. Well, if there's a disease, you get rid of it. That's what we find with medicine. You get rid of the disease. You no longer have it possible to come around. And so, last chance. You got to get with the program. We need to pay attention. We need to step from fear into love and realize that we can all change, but we need to do it. We need to begin the process. Because as sure as I'm sitting here and you're sitting where you are right now, there are those out there that are conspiring to do bad things on this planet. People that many think are doing good things. How many people do you know that are enslaved by the television show? They watch their shows. They got the blinking lights. They got the colors. You got the sounds. We got the things moving across the screen that you can't read quick enough that just goes into your subconscious. We got chemicals being sprayed in the air that maybe are interacting with the lights and the blinking things on the television. You've got things in the food. All the elements are there to control, for mind control. And if you go and you study the mind control techniques that have been done by the Nazis, the CIA, and the other black operatives out there, you find that this is what they use. Chemicals, drugs, sound, color, blinking lights. So we have to be strong. We have to use our minds to put ourselves in a better place. Use the gifts that we have, because we have some amazing gifts. But the gift isn't any good unless we use it. So let's use our gifts. All right, the message for today is a channeled message from Archangel Michael, Gabriel, and Ascended Master Hilarion. Here we go.
Messages from Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and Ascended Master Hilarion.
May 23rd to 15th, 2014, by Sandy McGonigal.
Message from Archangel Michael.
Take time each day in nature to enjoy the ever-changing face of the season you are experiencing. Be it spring or fall or a constant summer, if you live in the tropical regions of the world where more subtle signs of the seasons can be detected by the bloom cycles of flowers. Each day look to the colors of the sky and whether or not clouds are seen, and appreciate your life on the earth. There are many of you so involved in your daily existence that you need to be reminded to stop and appreciate who you really are, and how you can make a difference in another person's life with a simple smile or kind word. Going barefoot on the earth can do wonders for your soul. Rest time is essential to fully be able to take in these higher frequencies of divine wisdom and telepathic communication. Each day allow yourself a break from your routine to be with yourself and nature. Lying down on the ground for 5 minutes will allow the nature spirits to surround you with their healing and calming energies. Call to them and ask that they clear your chakras, and then open them again to receive the blessings of nature's calming influence on your subtle bodies, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. If you only have the floor in your home, then lie down comfortably and request me, Archangel Michael, to clear you of any cords and clear your chakras, and be grateful that you have chosen to take a quiet moment with yourself.
Message from Archangel Gabriel.
With weather patterns being so erratic, one must really go with the flow. Find a place that brings you peace and comfort in nature. A place that helps you to relax, for a few moments each day, listening to nature, feeling the breeze, taking time to enjoy what your life is really about. Balance your work and play times, as they are equally important in your life. There are certain colors that can really help you to feel calm, and they are found in the deep green hues of nature. Time spent quiet with yourself and your guides can help you gain clarity and focused intent on what decisions are best for you. Drama only heightens the tension. Water can also provide soothing of your soul as you enjoy a shower, or bath. Simple time alone developing and appreciating your life will open the doors to unlimited creativity.
Message from Ascended Master Hilarion.
Before a health crisis appears, take time to assess things that bring your body and soul joy and happiness. Really pay attention to things that make you happy, especially things that involve nature. Taking a walk around your neighborhood, or in a nearby park can do wonders for your body and your mind. Exercise is something your body needs and was built for. So if you can each day walk, move, explore places around where you live that offer scenic views, or tree-canopied streets, places that make you feel like nature has you in her arms and is caressing you. One of the wonderful things about nature is she can't be rushed. She has her own cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Gardeners are familiar with this cycle. Such are sweet scents of roses in bloom, the fresh taste of vegetables straight out of the garden, the rewards of working and appreciating nature whenever you can. Even photos of nature can create and elevate a sense of peace in your life. Take time to relax and enjoy being you.
Ascended Master Hilarion. Channeled by Cindy McGonigal.
Alright, very good messages from the angels and Hilarion. And that brings us to our meditation for today. Let's go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. One more deep breath. And exhale. And just feel the rhythm of your breath as you breathe in and out. And know that this breathing in and out is a reflection of the way the universe breathes in and out. And we can see this breathing in and out in everything we see around us. And as we understand that the nature is breathing, we understand that nature is alive. And as we realize that everything is alive with life, and we breathe that into us, we find that we are able to become more alive, more awake. And as we become more awake, we understand that we are able then to share what it is that we are able to share with others, because it is just the nature of how life works. We know that the sun shares with us its light, as does the moon and the stars and the planets. We know that food shares with us the energy that is held within it. Flowers share with it the smell that is within them. And so on and so on. And we realize that the process of life is continually sharing life with more life. And as we think about all of these things, we realize that the ways of humanity sometimes are opposite to that. For we see that life shares life and promotes life, but humankind sometimes destroys life. And so we just imagine those areas and those beings who are out destroying life, and we send them love right now, knowing that at this moment, that love will go in and change their hearts so that they see the error of their ways, and that either they change their ways and begin to create and sustain life, or else they simply disappear, fade away into existence. Contemplate the words of this affirmation. My life is the life of God. Deep down, real good God. The high vibration of excellence is the starting point in all I do. I am an ambassador of the unseen, making abundance visible on this planet. The impulse of divine love underscores my relationships. Turning within, I live full out, sailing, soaring, and totally free. My life is a hallelujah from head to toe, and so it is. So just imagine yourself celebrating the life that you have within you and the life that is outside of you. And celebrate the fact that you are a beacon of this life. And the more you allow to flow through you, the more you are able to allow to flow out of you. And in this way, you understand the true abundance of the nature is much more than anything physical we can imagine. And that all physical abundance comes from the understanding of the abundance that nature provides. So just imagine the word love now. And think of the planet Earth. And see the word love superimposed on the earth. And then just see it melt into the earth. And then see the earth smile as this love is absorbed into the earth. And imagine sending this love up into the cosmos to our space brothers and sisters out there. Sending this love and this encouragement to let them know that we will rise to the occasion, that we shall all evolve, and that darkness will be conquered and light will shine bright. And let us imagine now from our hearts calling out to all light workers upon this planet, to all souls upon this planet, that now is the time. Now is the time to open your hearts and your minds. Now is the time to remember why you have come upon this planet. Now is the time to share the gifts, the love, the light, the life with each and every one that you see. Because that is what we are here to do. Nothing more, nothing less. So as you go forth this week, and just imagine yourself being a beacon of love, light, and life. And imagine others around you feeling this energy. Without you having to say a word, they just feel the vibrations. And they themselves take that energy onto them, allow it to transmute, and then pass that on to others. We're all in this together, and when we all share the light, the love, and the life that we have available to us, there is nothing that can get in our way. And continue contemplating, and just contemplate these words before we open our eyes, these last words. Now open your eyes. And that's it, my friends. That's our prayer. That's our meditation for today. We have within us so much power, so much ability to make a difference on this planet. If you think about the things in the article, the stories of things that are collapsing, those are things outside of ourselves. The governments, the money, the banks, the policies. But the things that are alive are those things which are inside of us. The things which the spiritual masters talk about. So let us let those things shine bright. And if the other things fall away, so be it. Because that which is coming out of us, the light, the life, and the love, will transmute all of that into something even better. Because there is a divine plan, and God has our back. All we have to do is trust the process that is happening. Thanks for being here, my friends. Thanks for being here through the week. Go check out the interview at N5D and check out the other articles they have there and their other shows. A lot of great information. I'll be back Monday with more news and information. Till then, have an awesome weekend. I love you. Be safe. Have fun. Peace. I'm out of here.